Hello everybody, Dave here for the next episode of Dave Gets Wood. And it's late, just gone 1 o'clock in the morning. However, I was feeling a bit knackered, so I went for a nap at about 8:30 and woke up at about 12:15 midnight. So yeah, clearly needed the sleep, and I don't want to waste the time. I mean, quite simply, I could quite easily just stick a movie on, drink loads of beers, or stick a game on. But I'll do that after I've put a clear coat on the table, because I really want to get that. I wanted to get that bit done today. So I'll get that done now, and then from tomorrow on we can look at turning the table. So yeah, and I've worked out what I'm going to do with the table that it's on. I'm going to get a bed sheet, you know, like you put over your mattress. Get one of those, put it over the table, and that should help for when we turn it over. But yeah, I want to get the clear coat on it. I just need to make sure I don't go making too much noise, because like I said, it is 1 in the morning and I do have neighbours. Okay, right, we're going to fast forward, so let's crack on. Right, update time. It's done. It's finally done. Not completed, it's just the underside is done. But to be honest, it's probably the most fucking varnished underside of a table I've ever seen. But I've not really seen that many undersides of tables. I'm hot. It was awkward to do. I was absolutely fine for 3/4 of the table, doing my stretching, my swaying, my exercise as I applied, but it got to a point where I couldn't reach over far enough. And then when I came to this side, I struggled to see how it was applying, so I did have to keep going around and looking back at it. Seems to be okay. I've taken the thing off, you know, masking tape, that's it. And one of the reasons why I've taken that off now, as I mentioned before, don't want to keep it on there for too long. It's already been on there for a couple of days. Don't want, it's the same as like if you're masking walls, you do not want to keep the masking tape on there. I mean, ideally you want to remove the masking tape while the paint or your varnish is still wet. The reason for that is if you don't, especially with paint, where the paint goes from wall or whatever it is to masking tape, that dries, and then when you peel your masking tape, you peel your paint. And it's the same with varnish. So remove it while it's wet, but also gives me a chance to check around the edges, which I did, and to be fair, they look pretty good. Now, Obviously you'll be aware that I'd mentioned previously, I say obviously, you may not know, I'd mentioned previously that when I applied the masking tape I didn't do it precisely, and what that means is where the edge is, I didn't put the masking tape all the way up to the top. Right? Previously I would have done, but a couple of reasons why. This table, where the top is, or the bottom and the top, is actually curved a bit, so for me to precisely get that curve either on the top or on the side be a bit awkward, especially when I've sanded it a lot and it could be a wavy edge. So going the other way, just go below a bit, and not a lot, just enough, with the aim of not going over and round the sides, okay, but with a little bit of wiggle room. So when I've taken the masking tape off, there is a tiny little lip of varnish over the edges, only a tiny bit. But before I turn the table over, and see, I might not do this tomorrow, so I'm going to want to make sure that the table is cured. I'm thinking of masking taping the underside of the table. Right, similar process, but where the flat is, instead of going all the way to the edge, we'll just go all the way sort of up near it. Now the downside to that is that it would end up being on there for a long time, because when we turn this tabletop over, we're basically starting from the start. We need to find if there's any bits that need carving or smoothing, any bits that need repairing. We've got to go through that whole process, make sure that the wood is sealed and it's safe. Then I've also got to try and do the pattern on it, the design on it that I want, which will then need carving out. So this is all things that's going to take time and time. Once the carving out's done, I'm then intending on which way am I doing it? I'm doing all of the colour varnish before I put the resin in. And the reason for that is I don't want the coloured varnish to be going on the resin. So I want the coloured varnish on the top, the resin, coloured resin put in nearly to the top, a clear resin over the top of it to seal the art, I suppose it would be called. And yeah, so clear coats then after that. So there's a lot to do on the top of the table, and I can't say I have any idea of what kind of condition it's in. And what we've learned from the bottom side though is if there's any sort of narrow sort of cracks, probably better off doing a clear resin in them. That's worked really well on the underside of the table here. That's something I may continue to do in the future. The only thing is I would need more of the smaller bottles of resin, because like I said before, the big German one, it needs a larger amount to actually activate, and if it's just for a small crack, I don't need a large amount, not unless I'm going to do loads of extra stuff as well. But anyway, yeah, so I can't remember what the other side of the tabletop looks like, what condition it's in. So hopefully on the next video, that's what we'll be doing. We'll be having a look at that and analysing how we're going to go about things and what we're going to do next. So yeah, I'm buggered, so I'm going to stop there and I'll say have a good one everyone, and we'll see you all again soon.